Ooh, she's looking dirty. Look how dirty she is. Ooh, dirty all over. Filthy. Very filthy. That's because I haven't been driving that much. Ugh. Also, my central locking has decided to stop working, so I have to do this without scratching the paint. Anyway, let's go get her washed and we'll talk a little bit about the car. Okay, so here we are inside. It's very dark because I'm in the car park. It's had a few upgrades. Got a ton of upgrades. This is probably one of the most sorted RX8s in Thailand, or one of, probably one of 3. So everything works as it should. It always does that beep, ignore it. It's the warning sign for when oil pressure is down. So these are Defi gauges. That's my Apple CarPlay, that's all integrated. That was a long story to get installed. This is carbon fiber, and it blends into the dash where the old pop-up screen used to be, which I don't need because I got that. Anyway, start her up. Always takes a little bit longer to crank when it's cold. Oh, it's not focusing there. It's kind of annoying. Focus, there we go. Anyway, she's cold now. Our aircon is freezing cold. Let's slow it down a bit. As you can see, all of that works. Not easy to achieve that with an engine swap. Now you probably see a lot of 1JZ swapped cars. They tend to go in Toyotas of a similar age, but when you put it into a more modern car, you know, a CAN bus and all the fancy, well not fancy, but the more annoyingly complicated electrics, it is incredibly hard to get either the tacho working, the fuel gauge working, the trip working, the speed reading working, any of this working, let alone keep retaining the original shifter. I love this about the RX. It's got this awesome storage. It's got one in the back as well, right there. You may notice, yes, that's painted to match, which is very nice. If you have an iPhone, you know all about the troubles, no pun intended, of it always going to U2. Lightning cable here, you plug it into your iPhone and you got your Apple Maps. I used to have a screaming exhaust, but I had to get rid of it. It was just too loud, so now I've got a much quieter exhaust setup. Anyway, let's take it for a drive. Okay, she's still cold. The thing with these older turbo cars is that if you try to give them the full boost when they're cold, they overboost. And also it's not good for the engine. One cool thing about living in a hot country is that you don't need to worry about temperatures as much warming up, because they pretty much warm up instantly. I remember, you know, having highly tuned turbo cars back home in England, and it would take miles of driving before they even hit like 70 Celsius, which is about what you consider safe. Now my car's really low, even though I've raised it. Get ready. Yeah, just made it. Okay. But in Thailand it's so hot that things heat up pretty much instantly. So after about 5 minutes, you're good to go. In fact, heat is an issue, especially with turbo cars. Every car I've done, even my naturally aspirated UZ, which is no longer naturally aspirated, supercharged, I always put in the biggest cooling system, oil coolers and intercoolers as humanly possible, and it helps so much. And even the cooling fans, so fast. The cooling fans are always like proper aftermarket Denso, very high power, and I have them pretty much running all the time. No switch for them to come on, just have them come on. Here we go, Thai driving. How am I supposed to turn? Dickheads. Yeah, the driving in Thailand is horrendous. Anyway, so this is a 1JZGTE VVTI. It's a very overlooked, well, no, it was overlooked until about last year. I've always known about this engine. It is 99% the Supra. It's actually more modern than the Supra. It's the very last iteration of the JZ by Toyota. It is the pinnacle of all the engineering and everything they've learned from this. I mean, the engine pretty much dates back to the late 80s, and this is the end of the 90s. My particular one is like a 2001. It's from a Chaser 110. It's a weird one. So the 1JZ and 2JZ are always twin turboed, but the 1JZ VVTI was a single turbo, and it's a fairly big turbo. It's got a CT15B, and the single turbo combined with the VVTI system basically caused it to be a bit of a torque monster. The VVTI improves the torque at the bottom end, which helped to spool up the turbo a lot quicker. And as such, it doesn't really feel like a little 2.5. It feels more like a big 4 litre. And it's kind of at odds with the engine, because a 1JZ is exactly the same as a 2JZ, just short stroke. Let's see all that wheel spin. It's exactly the same as 2JZ, just short stroke. And this turbo and the VVTI turn it into a bit of a torque monster. And as such, they only kind of go to about 5,500 RPM before they run out of grunt, which is at odds with the engine design. But then they put this engine in kind of touring, grand touring cars. They didn't put it in sports cars. But I never got my head around that, because the 2JZ would make more sense, having more displacement. But anyway, I digress. So I am running a CT15B, but it's a special version. It's not a hybrid. It's a complete replacement turbo, completely stock dimensions to the original turbo, but it has a billet wheel with like a different design and extended tip, and Inconel exhaust wheel. Now, a stock turbo is ceramic, and if you go over 1 bar, they pretty much disintegrate and blow up, so you're always kind of restricted to about 320 horsepower. However, I'm able to get 380 wheel, and I can't even remember the number, but the amount of torque it makes it's like 600 Newton meters. It's crazy, and that comes on really, really quick, really, really low down. And I'm going to have to slow down here because I'm going to the car wash. I'm trying to find where it is. There we go. I'm always looking at my mirrors because people just pop up everywhere. Oh, the car's filled. I can't even see out the window, and I've run out of windscreen. Is this even open? Oh, you're joking. Is it not open? Nobody here. Nobody here. Oh, there is someone here. Okay. Alright. I'm going to turn this off now.